Welcome to Sarah Wood's Tale, where stories comes alive. Please do well to hit that subscription button and turn on your notification bell for subsequent stories. This is a true life story. Nathan Carter had everything a man could ever wish for: money, cars, women, and an endless supply of entertainment. As the only son of billionaire Richard Carter, he lived without limits. He threw extravagant parties in his father's mansion, bought expensive sports cars on a whim, and traveled across the world whenever he pleased. But despite all this, he had no real responsibilities. On a Friday afternoon, Nathan sat by the pool, sipping a glass of whiskey while scrolling through his phone. Loud music blasted from the speakers, and a few of his friends lounged around, laughing and talking. "Hey, Nathan." David Shaw, his childhood best friend, called out. "There's a yacht party tomorrow night. You in?" Nathan smirked. "Of course. I'll have my driver pick us up. No need to worry about a thing." David chuckled. "Man, you have it easy. I wish I had your life." Nathan leaned back, grinning. "Being rich is a blessing, my friend. Some of us were just born lucky." Just as he said that, an older butler, Mr. Benson, approached with a cautious expression. "Sir, your father has requested to see you in his office," Mr. Benson informed him politely. Nathan groaned, rolling his eyes. "What now? He's probably going to lecture me about being responsible again." David laughed. "Good luck, man. I'll be here finishing your whiskey." Nathan sighed and stood up, stretching lazily. He didn't take his father's scoldings seriously. After all, Richard Carter had been saying the same things for years. Nathan walked into his father's grand office, where Richard Carter sat behind a massive wooden desk, reviewing business documents. His sharp blue eyes met Nathan's as he entered. "You're late," Richard said, his tone firm. Nathan shrugged. "I was busy. Busy wasting time and money, as usual." Richard sighed, rubbing his temples. "Nathan, do you even understand what it takes to run a business empire like ours? Or do you think money falls from the sky?" Nathan smirked, sitting across from his father. "I don't need to worry about that, do I? You're handling everything just fine." Richard's jaw tightened. "That's exactly the problem, Nathan. You refuse to take responsibility. You're 25, and all you do is party, spend recklessly, and act like a spoiled child." Nathan rolled his eyes. "Dad, come on. You built this empire so I wouldn't have to struggle. Isn't that the point?" Richard's patience wore thin. He slammed his pen on the desk. "The point is for you to learn how to be a man. One day, this company will be yours, and at this rate, you'll run it into the ground." Nathan scoffed. "You always say that, but nothing ever changes. Look, Dad, I appreciate what you've done, but I'm not cut out for business meetings and paperwork. I like my life the way it is." Richard shook his head in disappointment. "Then you're no son of mine." Nathan frowned, caught off guard. "What's that supposed to mean?" Richard stood up, his expression hard. "It means I won't keep funding your reckless lifestyle forever. The next time you get into trouble, I won't be there to clean up your mess." Nathan clenched his jaw but forced a smirk. "We'll see about that." That evening, Nathan returned to his room, annoyed. He grabbed his phone to text David about their party plans when a soft knock interrupted him. "What now?" he muttered, walking toward the door. He swung it open and found himself staring at a young woman in a simple uniform. She had bright green eyes, brown hair neatly tied in a bun, and a calm yet firm expression. "Who are you?" Nathan asked, looking her up and down. "My name is Emily Dawson," she said politely. "I'm the new housemaid." Nathan raised an eyebrow. "And? What do you want?" "I've been assigned to clean your room," she said, stepping inside without waiting for his permission. Nathan leaned against the door frame, smirking. "You must be new. The last maid knew better than to interrupt me." Emily didn't look impressed. She started tidying up the room, ignoring his presence. Nathan watched her, amused. "You know, you should be a little more polite to your boss." Emily paused and looked at him. "You're not my boss, sir. Your father is. I just work here." Nathan's smirk faded. He wasn't used to staff talking back. "Excuse me." Emily shrugged. "I was hired to clean, not to entertain you." Nathan crossed his arms. "You do realize I could get you fired, right?" Emily met his gaze fearlessly. "Then do it. If I lose this job, I'll find another. But I won't be disrespected." Nathan was stunned. No one, not even the most senior staff, ever dared to speak to him like that. Most people either feared him or wanted to impress him because of his wealth. Who do you think you are? Nathan muttered. Someone who does their job, Emily replied, continuing her work. Nathan scoffed. You're awfully bold for a maid. Emily didn't respond. She simply finished cleaning, picked up her supplies, and walked to the door. Before leaving, she turned to him. Sir, with all due respect, you should clean up after yourself sometimes. It's not that hard. With that, she left, closing the door behind her. Nathan stood there, speechless. For the first time in his life, someone had looked at him, not as a billionaire's son, but as a person. And he didn't like it one bit. The next morning, Nathan deliberately made a mess in his room, spilled drinks, clothes everywhere, and food on the floor. He wanted to test Emily, to see if she would back down. When she arrived, she took one look at the disaster and sighed. I assume this was on purpose, she asked, folding her arms. Nathan grinned. What makes you say that? Emily shook her head and started cleaning without another word. Nathan frowned. You're not going to argue. No point, Emily replied. If you want to behave like a child, that's your choice. Nathan narrowed his eyes. Are you calling me a child? Emily looked at him and smiled slightly. Only a child makes a mess just to get attention. Nathan's smirk vanished. No one had ever challenged him like this. You're different, he muttered. Emily nodded. Yes. And that's why I won't treat you like some untouchable prince. Nathan watched her as she worked, realizing that, for the first time, someone in his house wasn't afraid of him. And he wasn't sure how he felt about that. Nathan Carter had always lived like there were no consequences for his actions. To him, money could fix anything. If he got into trouble, his father's influence would make it disappear. But that belief came crashing down one night. It started as just another party, a wild, expensive gathering at an exclusive club. The music was deafening, the drinks endless, and the crowd filled with socialites, influencers, and trust fund kids like him. Another round, boys. Nathan shouted, raising his glass. His best friend, David Shaw, laughed. Man, you're on fire tonight. Nathan grinned. He loved the thrill of being the center of attention. But as the night went on, things got out of control. A few too many drinks. A few reckless words. Then, a confrontation. Someone, a wealthy rival, perhaps, made a snide remark about Nathan living off his father's money. Nathan, already drunk and irritable, lost his temper. One shove led to another, and soon, fists were flying. Glass shattered. Cameras flashed. By the time security intervened, Nathan was being dragged out, his expensive shirt torn, his face red with anger. The next morning, he woke up to disaster. His name was trending all over social media. #Nathan Carter fight was everywhere, with videos of him throwing punches and shouting profanities. News outlets picked up the story. Billionaire's son involved in club brawl. Nathan groaned, rubbing his temples as he read the headlines. His phone buzzed non-stop with messages. Then, the call came. He sighed and answered. Dad. Get home. Now. Richard Carter's voice was ice cold. Nathan swallowed hard. He had never heard his father sound so furious. Nathan stepped into his father's office, hands in his pockets, wearing his usual smirk. But one look at Richard's face and the smirk faded. Do you have any idea what you've done? Richard said, his voice dangerously calm. Nathan scoffed. It was just a fight. People fight all the time. Not when they're in the public eye, Richard snapped. Not when their every move is watched by the media. Nathan rolled his eyes. Relax, Dad. This will blow over. Richard slammed a newspaper on the desk. The headline read, Carter Industries heir, arrogant and out of control. This is not just about you, Richard said. This affects our family, our business, our reputation. Nathan sighed. So, what? You'll pay someone to fix it like always. Richard shook his head. Not this time. Nathan frowned. What do you mean? Richard leaned back in his chair, his expression unreadable. I'm cutting you off, Nathan. Silence. Nathan laughed. Good one, Dad. I'm serious. Nathan's smile disappeared. Wait. What? Richard folded his hands. No more credit cards. No more bank transfers. No access to the family fortune. Until you prove that you can be responsible, you won't see another dime from me. Nathan's heart pounded. You can't be serious. I've let you waste enough years doing nothing. Now, you'll learn the value of hard work. Nathan scoffed. And how exactly do you expect me to do that? Richard's lips curled into a smirk. You'll work in this house. Nathan blinked. What? You heard me. You will cook, clean, and manage your own expenses. Nathan clenched his fists. You're joking. Richard leaned forward. Emily will supervise you. Nathan's stomach dropped. Emily, he echoed. Yes. She's disciplined, responsible, and hardworking, everything you're not. Nathan's jaw tightened. You're making me take orders from a maid. Richard met his eyes. She's more capable than you right now. Nathan seethed. I won't do it. Then you'll leave this house with nothing. Nathan stared at his father, waiting for him to change his mind. But Richard Carter never bluffed. The next morning, Nathan woke up to a new reality. No more personal assistants. No more breakfast waiting for him. No more luxury. Instead, Emily Dawson stood in the kitchen, arms crossed, waiting for him. You're late, she said. Nathan scowled. I don't do mornings. Emily sighed. You do now. She handed him an apron. Nathan looked at it like it was a foreign object. What am I supposed to do with this? You're going to cook breakfast, Emily said. Nathan laughed. Yeah, right. Emily didn't smile. Your father meant what he said. If you want to eat, you cook. Nathan groaned. Fine. What do I do? Emily handed him eggs and a frying pan. Start with scrambled eggs. Nathan cracked an egg, too hard. The shell shattered, pieces falling into the bowl. Emily raised an eyebrow. Great start. Nathan gritted his teeth and tried again. He turned on the stove but forgot to add oil, causing the eggs to stick to the pan. Smoke started rising. Emily quickly turned off the heat. Okay. Step away before you burn the house down. Nathan threw down the spatula. This is ridiculous. Why should I be doing this? Emily crossed her arms. Because life isn't just about having things handed to you. Nathan glared at her. You enjoy this, don't you? Seeing me struggle. Emily smirked. A little. Nathan groaned and slumped into a chair. This is going to be a nightmare. Emily simply placed a plate of properly cooked eggs in front of him. Eat. You'll need energy for your next task. Nathan picked at the food, scowling. What next task? Emily grinned. Cleaning. For the next few days, Nathan suffered. He learned that cleaning was exhausting, that budgeting wasn't easy, and that Emily took no nonsense. This is boring, Nathan groaned as he mopped the floor. Emily chuckled. It's only boring because you're not used to it. Nathan rolled his eyes. You actually enjoy working like this. Emily shrugged. It gives me purpose. Nathan frowned. I don't get it. Emily sighed. You've never had to work for anything. Everything was handed to you. But when you earn something, it feels different. Nathan thought about that. One night, while washing dishes, he muttered, So, you really like working? Emily smiled. It's not about liking it. It's about knowing I'm in control of my life. Nathan was silent for a moment. For the first time, he started questioning everything. Weeks passed. Nathan stopped fighting the tasks and started learning. He got better at cooking. He learned how to manage money. He even, shockingly, found himself waking up early. One afternoon, he caught himself thinking before spending. He stared at a designer jacket in a store window, then shook his head. Not worth it, he muttered, walking away. That night, he found Emily reading a book. What are you reading? He asked. Emily looked up. A business book. Nathan frowned. You like business? Emily nodded. I want to start my own someday. Nathan hesitated. You know, I never really cared about my father's business. Emily smirked. Obviously. Nathan laughed. But I think I get why it matters to him now. Emily nodded. That's growth. Nathan looked at her, really looked at her. For the first time, he didn't see her as just the maid. He saw her as someone who was shaping him into a better person. And he wasn't sure what that meant for his feelings. Nathan Carter was a different man now. Weeks of working under Emily's supervision had changed him in ways he never imagined. He no longer wasted money carelessly. He no longer treated people like they were beneath him. And for the first time in his life, he felt grounded. He had learned how to cook a decent meal, clean up after himself, and budget his expenses. He even found himself listening when Emily talked about responsibility and self-discipline. But just as he started seeing the world differently, his past came knocking. Jessica Miles. She walked into the Carter mansion as if she owned the place, her long blonde hair perfectly styled, her expensive perfume filling the air. She was dressed in a designer dress that clung to her curves, her bright red lips curled into a seductive smile. Nathan had not seen her in weeks, not since his father had cut him off. She had vanished the moment he lost access to his bank accounts, confirming what he had always suspected but never wanted to admit. Jessica was only with him for his money. Now, she was back. Nathan leaned against the kitchen counter, arms crossed. "What are you doing here, Jessica?" Jessica pouted, stepping closer. "Nathan, baby. I've missed you." He raised an eyebrow. "Have you? Because I don't remember you missing me when I lost everything." Jessica laughed lightly, running a manicured hand down his arm. "Oh, don't be like that. I was giving you space. I knew you needed time to figure things out." Nathan scoffed. "Figure things out? You mean struggle? Be broke?" Jessica gave him an innocent smile. "Nathan, I never cared about the money. I care about you." Nathan looked into her eyes, searching for even a hint of sincerity. Nothing. The old him would have fallen for this. He would have believed her, taken her back without question. But he wasn't the old him anymore. "Jessica," he said, sighing. "Why are you really here?" Jessica batted her eyelashes. "I want us to be together again. Things are different now. And I know you miss our life, the parties, the luxury, the fun." Nathan shook his head. "That life almost destroyed me." Jessica laughed softly. "Oh, don't be so dramatic." She leaned in, whispering, "I can help you get it all back." Nathan frowned. "What do you mean?" Jessica glanced around, lowering her voice. "Your father is rich, Nathan. And he's still funding everything in this house, isn't he?" Nathan's stomach twisted. "What are you suggesting?" Jessica smirked. "Take what's rightfully yours." Nathan's face darkened. "Steal from my father." Jessica shrugged. "It's not stealing. It's your inheritance. It's your money anyway. He's just keeping it from you." Nathan clenched his fists. The old him would have done it without a second thought. He would have taken the easy way out. But now, he hesitated. He thought about everything he had learned under Emily's guidance. How she had shown him the importance of earning his own way. How she had forced him to see the world differently. Nathan took a deep breath. "No," he said firmly. Jessica's smile froze. "What?" "I said no," Nathan repeated. "I won't do it." Jessica's eyes darkened. "Are you serious?" Nathan nodded. "For the first time in my life, yeah. I am." Jessica stepped back, crossing her arms. "So, what? You're some kind of saint now." Nathan exhaled. "No. But I'm not that guy anymore." Jessica's lips curled in disgust. "This is because of her, isn't it?" Nathan frowned. "Who?" Jessica sneered. "Emily. The little maid who's been bossing you around. She's changed you." Nathan didn't respond. Jessica's face twisted with anger. "Wow. You really think she's special, don't you?" Nathan met her gaze, his voice steady. "She is." Jessica's expression darkened. "You're pathetic." Nathan didn't flinch. "If choosing to be better makes me pathetic, then fine." Jessica let out a bitter laugh. "We'll see about that." With that, she stormed out, her heels clicking sharply against the floor. Nathan let out a slow breath, rubbing his face. Something told him this wasn't over. The next evening, the storm came. Emily was in the library, flipping through a book, when she heard voices outside. Emily Dawson. Jessica's voice rang through the hallway, filled with cruel amusement. Or should I say, Emily Jones. Emily's fingers tightened on the book. She slowly stood up and turned. Jessica stood in the doorway, holding a few printed documents in her hand. Nathan was right behind her, his jaw clenched. Emily crossed her arms. "What do you want, Jessica?" Jessica smirked, waving the papers. "Just wanted to share some interesting information I found about you." Emily's stomach twisted. Jessica held up one of the papers. "You were homeless once, weren't you? Living on the streets after your family lost everything." Nathan's eyes widened. "Emily?" Emily swallowed hard but didn't break eye contact. "Yes. And?" Jessica's smirk faltered. "You're not even denying it." Emily lifted her chin. "Why should I? It's the truth." Jessica let out a cold laugh. "Wow. You really are trash, aren't you? A street rat who somehow got lucky." Nathan stepped forward, his voice like steel. "Enough, Jessica." Jessica turned to him. "Why are you defending her? She lied to you. Nathan's jaw tightened. She never lied. She just didn't share her past with me. Jessica's eyes flashed. She's beneath you, Nathan. She's nothing. Nathan's hands curled into fists. That's where you're wrong. Jessica scoffed. Come on. Do you really think your father will accept her? A maid. A former homeless girl. Nathan took a deep breath, his voice firm. I don't care what anyone thinks. Emily is more than her past. More than any of this. Jessica's face twisted in rage. You're throwing everything away for her. Nathan shook his head. No. I'm finally seeing what really matters. Jessica let out a bitter laugh. You a fool. Nathan exhaled. Then I'd rather be a fool than be with someone like you. Jessica stared at him, realization dawning in her eyes. She had lost. Her grip on the papers tightened, but she saw no point in continuing. With a final glare at Emily, she turned and stormed out of the house. Silence filled the room. Emily let out a slow breath. You didn't have to defend me. Nathan turned to her, his eyes soft. Yes, I did. Emily looked away. She was right about my past. Nathan stepped closer. So what? That past made you who you are. And who you are is incredible. Emily's breath caught. She looked up at him, her heart pounding. For the first time, she saw something different in Nathan's eyes. Something real. Something that scared her. Nathan, she whispered. But he only smiled softly. I'm not the same man I used to be, he said. And that's because of you. Nathan sat in his father's office, staring at the stack of reports on the desk. The numbers didn't look good. The Carter family business, Carter Industries, was facing a major financial crisis. Years of reckless investments, poor decisions, and internal corruption had left the company on the edge of collapse. Richard Carter, usually a strong and confident businessman, looked weary. He ran a hand through his graying hair and sighed. This is worse than I thought. Nathan, now more mature and responsible than before, leaned forward. What's the biggest issue? Richard tapped a financial statement. A major investor just pulled out. Without their funds, we can't complete the expansion project. If we don't find a way to cover the losses, we'll have to lay off hundreds of employees. Nathan frowned, scanning the documents. There has to be a way. Maybe we can attract a new investor. Richard sighed. We've tried. No one wants to invest in a sinking ship. Nathan sat back, deep in thought. Before, he wouldn't have cared. He would have shrugged and walked away, letting his father handle it. But now, he saw things differently. He had learned about responsibility from Emily. He had learned what it meant to work hard, to care about people beyond himself. And he wasn't about to let his family's legacy fall apart. Nathan took a deep breath. Give me a chance, Dad. Let me try to fix this. Richard raised an eyebrow. You? Nathan nodded. I know I've been reckless in the past. I know I haven't taken anything seriously. But I've changed. And I want to prove it. Richard studied his son for a long moment. Then, to Nathan's surprise, he nodded. All right. Show me what you've got. Nathan spent the next few days studying everything about Carter Industries. He met with key employees, analyzed financial reports, and reached out to business connections. He discovered that the company's downfall wasn't just bad investments, it was sabotage. Someone within the company had been leaking information to competitors, causing investors to lose confidence. Nathan's jaw tightened. He knew exactly who could be behind this. Jessica Miles. She had been involved with wealthy businessmen before, using her charm to manipulate deals. And now, she had been working behind the scenes to ensure Carter Industries' downfall. Nathan wasted no time. He gathered proof, emails, phone records, and confidential documents that linked Jessica to the sabotage. The next morning, he called a press conference. Reporters filled the room, their cameras flashing as Nathan stood at the podium. I've gathered you all here today to reveal the truth about the recent financial crisis in Carter Industries, he began, his voice strong and confident. For weeks, we've been facing serious losses, and many believed our company was failing due to poor management. But that's not the full story. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Nathan held up a folder. We have evidence that someone has been leaking information to our competitors, causing our investors to panic and withdraw their funds. The reporters leaned forward eagerly. Nathan took a deep breath and continued. That person is Jessica Miles. Gasps filled the room. Nathan clicked a button, and a large screen behind him displayed emails and text messages from Jessica to rival companies. She has been working with our competitors, feeding them inside information in exchange for money, Nathan said firmly. She deliberately tried to destroy this company, all while pretending to care about me. Reporters immediately began shouting questions. What will happen to her now? Are you pressing charges? Is this why you broke up? Nathan raised a hand to silence them. Jessica is out of my life for good. And as for Carter Industries, we are not going down. We will rebuild, we will recover, and we will come back stronger than ever. Applause filled the room. Nathan stepped away from the podium, feeling a sense of pride he had never felt before. For the first time, he had done something meaningful. He had protected his family's legacy. Emily stood by the window of her small room in the Carter mansion, watching the city lights. She had done her part. Nathan had changed. He was no longer the arrogant, reckless billionaire's son she had met months ago. He was responsible now. Strong. Independent. She had nothing left to teach him. It was time to leave. She packed her bag quietly, not wanting to make a scene. But as she turned to leave, the door swung open. Nathan stood there, his eyes filled with urgency. You're leaving? Emily sighed. Yes. Nathan stepped closer. Why? Emily swallowed hard. Because my job here is done. You don't need me anymore. Nathan's jaw tightened. That's not true. Emily forced a small smile. You've grown into the man your father always wanted you to be. I'm proud of you, Nathan. But I don't belong here. Nathan took another step forward, his voice softer now. Emily, stay. Emily shook her head. I can't. Nathan exhaled, running a hand through his hair. Do you really think I've changed? Emily nodded. Yes. Nathan's eyes locked onto hers. Then believe me when I say I don't want you to go. Emily's heart pounded. Nathan. I love you. The words hung in the air between them. Emily's breath caught. What? Nathan stepped even closer, closing the distance between them. I love you, Emily. You're the reason I became a better man. You showed me what life is really about. Emily's eyes welled up with tears. Nathan. I don't want you to leave, he whispered. Stay with me. Emily searched his face, seeing nothing but sincerity. She had never expected this. Never imagined that the spoiled billionaire's son would one day confess his love for her. Tears slipped down her cheeks as she whispered, I love you too. Nathan let out a relieved laugh before pulling her into his arms. For the first time in his life, he felt like he had everything he needed. Richard Carter sat in his office, listening to the news about his company's recovery. Nathan had done it. He had saved Carter Industries. Richard leaned back in his chair as the door opened. Nathan walked in, his face full of quiet confidence. Richard studied him for a moment before speaking. You did well. Nathan smiled. Thank you. Richard nodded. You've proven yourself, son. You're not the reckless boy you used to be. Nathan's expression turned serious. I want to be part of the company, Dad. I want to help run it. Richard raised an eyebrow. You're ready for that responsibility? Nathan nodded. I am. Richard exhaled, then smiled. Then I think it's time you take control of part of the business. Nathan's eyes widened. You mean it? Richard stood and extended his hand. You've earned it. Nathan shook his father's hand firmly. It wasn't just about money or power anymore. It was about building something meaningful. And he was ready. As he walked out of the office, he saw Emily waiting for him in the hallway. He smiled at her, reaching for her hand. For the first time in his life, Nathan Carter had everything he had ever wanted. And he wasn't letting go. Nathan Carter had never been nervous before. Not when throwing the wildest parties, not when getting into trouble, not even when standing in front of cameras exposing Jessica. But now, as he stood in the middle of the beautifully decorated garden, his heart pounded harder than ever. Tonight, he was going to ask Emily Dawson to marry him. The garden was lit with twinkling fairy lights, the scent of roses filling the air. A table for two was set under a white canopy, with candles flickering softly. It was intimate, quiet, exactly how Emily liked things. Nathan adjusted his suit, taking a deep breath. He had planned every detail. He wanted everything to be perfect. Then he heard footsteps. He turned around and saw Emily walking towards him, looking breathtaking in a simple blue dress. Her hair flowed down her back, her eyes filled with curiosity. Nathan, what's all this? She asked, looking around in awe. Nathan smiled. Just a little something for you. Emily raised an eyebrow. A candlelit dinner in the garden? What's the occasion? Nathan chuckled, pulling out a chair for her. Just sit and enjoy. I promise you'll find out soon. Emily hesitated for a moment before taking her seat. All right, Mr. Mysterious. Nathan sat across from her, pouring her a glass of wine. They talked, laughed, and enjoyed their meal. Emily had never seen Nathan so different. He wasn't arrogant, wasn't careless. He was calm, focused, and completely devoted to her. And then, just as they finished dessert, Nathan stood up. Emily watched him curiously. What are you doing? Nathan took a deep breath, then reached into his pocket. Slowly, he got down on one knee. Emily's eyes widened. Her heart skipped a beat. Nathan. He took her hand gently, looking straight into her eyes. Emily, I've done a lot of stupid things in my life. I've wasted years being reckless, selfish, and blind to what truly matters. But then you came into my life. Emily's throat tightened. Nathan continued, his voice steady and filled with emotion. You didn't care about my money or my name. You challenged me, made me see the world differently. You taught me responsibility, kindness, and what it means to truly love someone. Emily felt tears forming in her eyes. Nathan opened the small velvet box, revealing a stunning diamond ring. Emily Dawson, I don't care where you came from, and I don't care about our differences. All I care about is you. You are the best thing that ever happened to me, and I want to spend the rest of my life proving that to you. Emily gasped softly, covering her mouth with her hands. Nathan's voice dropped to a whisper. Will you marry me? Emily's heart raced. She never expected this. She had come into Nathan's life as a housemaid, just another employee in his mansion. At first, he had treated her with arrogance, just like he treated everyone else. But he had changed. She had seen him grow, mature, and become a man worthy of respect. And now, he was asking her to be his wife. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she nodded, her voice trembling. Yes, Nathan. Yes, I'll marry you. Nathan's face lit up with the biggest smile she had ever seen. He slid the ring onto her finger, then pulled her into his arms, holding her tightly. Emily laughed through her tears. I can't believe this is happening. Nathan kissed the top of her head. Believe it, sweetheart, because I'm never letting you go. The next morning, Nathan and Emily sat in Richard Carter's office. Richard looked at them with his usual serious expression. So, let me get this straight. You're engaged. Nathan nodded, squeezing Emily's hand. Yes. Richard leaned back in his chair, his sharp eyes studying them. For a moment, there was silence. Then, Richard chuckled. I can't say I saw this coming. Emily shifted uncomfortably. Sir, Richard raised a hand. Emily, relax. If anything, I should be thanking you. Emily blinked. What? Richard smiled. You turned my son into a man. I spent years trying, but you did it in months. Nathan smirked. She's pretty amazing, isn't she? Richard nodded. She is. He turned to Emily. Are you sure about this? Marrying into this family means stepping into a world of pressure, scrutiny, and expectations. Emily met his gaze firmly. I don't care about the wealth or the name, sir. I love Nathan for who he is, not what he has. Richard studied her for a moment, then smiled. Then you have my blessing. Emily exhaled in relief. Nathan grinned, pulling her close. Richard stood up, shaking Nathan's hand. I'm proud of you, son. Nathan's smile softened. Thanks, Dad. For the first time in his life, he truly felt like he had everything he needed. And it all started with a housemaid who refused to be intimidated. Please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to get more interesting stories like this.